So I was 18, and I was told that if I didn't look a certain way, that they wouldn't put out my music.
What's going on with your situation? Every time we see you, we ask because everybody is ready for an album. So
Ready too. It's a wicked f***ed up situation. I'm like totally exasperated by it. I'm honestly really pissed off.
I never had the love you keep me inside, and I am not ashamed. You give me my love. How far can we go? Nobody knows. You give me my love.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Empressive channel. This music spotlight and documentary video is about the singer, songwriter, and actress named Joanna Levesque, widely known as the artist JoJo. JoJo broke into the music scene at the age of 13 and achieved a huge amount of success at an early age. With her success came some unexpected complications, which is a common tale for a lot of artists in the industry. JoJo, however, had a cluster of setbacks that could have permanently hindered her, but she fought through it and prevailed. JoJo started singing and performing at a very young age. What caught people's attention was her vocal skills. Her vocals were quite impressive for her age.
Why is it so easy for you to turn, walk away? After all that we've been through, how did it happen this way?
I just couldn't believe what I was hearing from this little 12-year-old girl. It's mind-boggling. You know, I've worked with Toni Braxton, Whitney Houston, Destiny's Child, the list goes on, and this girl is like 12 years old, and at the level of these guys, it's like unbelievable.
JoJo was offered several record deals, but she did not sign one until her mother felt like she was old enough to. At the age of 12, JoJo landed a record deal with Blackground and its subsidiary label, The Family Records. Executive producer Vince Herbert helped her audition for the CEO of Blackground Records, Barry Hankerson. Barry Hankerson was the uncle of the late singer A.V.A, and he felt like JoJo was a gift from his niece.
When I first met with Barry, who is her uncle, when I sang for him, we went to his house. I sang for him along with my executive producer, Vincent Herbert. We were all on the couch, me and my mother and Vincent. And after I sang, he got teary-eyed, and he said, it was like baby girl, who's A.V.A, was over your shoulder saying, look at what I brought for you, Uncle Barry. We all started bawling our eyes out. Just the similarities and the weird instances that have happened. I mean, I think she is watching over me.
JoJo was indeed an unexpected gift that gave Barry Hankerson's label new life. After she auditioned, she was signed to the label.
I remember my mom and I skipping down the street from just signing the papers, and it just felt like such a dream come true and like something that I really didn't know if it was attainable. And I didn't understand the work that was going to come with it, but I knew that I was ready for whatever it entailed because, you know, there was just no turning back. There was no going back to Massachusetts and living in a one-bedroom apartment. That just wasn't something that that I wanted to go back to.
After JoJo got signed, she immediately began to record her first album. In 2004, she released her first single, Leave, Get Out.
Get out, leave right now. It's the end of you and me.
Leave, Get Out was a pop-friendly song with an R&B edge. To JoJo's surprise, the song became a big radio hit. Even though JoJo did not initially care for Get Out, a lot of people did, and the song got popular very quickly.
They played me this other song, and I hated it. I thought it was garbage. I thought, why are you playing this for me? And it was Leave. I had no idea that people would respond to it like that. And me, myself, I was just like, I don't get it.
Even though JoJo didn't understand it, people loved her song and loved her. She even had celebrities who supported her as well.
Oh, when I was 13, Shaka Khan said she wanted to give me voice lessons, and I just thought that was like the most amazing thing ever. And Whitney Houston, rest in peace, wrote me a letter and sent me flowers to Madison Square Garden at my performance, and from her and her daughter. That is something I will never forget.
What does Bobby and Christina listen to?
JoJo, get up right now. You know.
Leave Get Out peaked to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 1 on the Billboard Pop Songs charts, making JoJo the youngest solo artist to have a number 1 hit record on the charts. JoJo's follow-up record was a sugary pop and R&B song called Baby It's You. In 2004, JoJo released her self-titled debut album, which was certified platinum in the US. The album went on to sell over 3 million records worldwide. JoJo became an instant star. Her youth, coupled with her talent, was a great advantage for her and her label. There was no other young 13-year-old artist at that time, which was great for JoJo because she had her own lane to shine. She was marketable to the young teenage crowd, but she was also embraced by adults who simply appreciated her talent. Her big voice, catchy music, and stage presence helped her gain a big fan base and a lot of attention. In 2006, JoJo released her second album, The High Road, which spawned 2 singles, including her lead single, Too Little Too Late. Too Little Too Late was a pop, rock, and R&B infused power ballad, which was a more mature and versatile sound from JoJo. Her fans especially loved it because it showcased her evolving vocal skills. Too Little Too Late peaked to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and it became JoJo's biggest hit to date. After that, JoJo released a follow-up single called How to Touch a Girl. JoJo's album The High Road performed pretty well on the charts. The album was certified gold in a month, and it went on to sell 3 million records worldwide. In between making music, JoJo dabbled in acting. She made appearances on different TV shows and starred in movies like the teen fantasy film Aquamarine, and she starred in a comedy film alongside Robin Williams called R.V. A couple of years later, she starred in a Lifetime TV film called True Confessions of a Hollywood Starlet. JoJo was only 16 years old, but she achieved so much at a young age at that point. But there was still so much more for her to achieve. Her future looked brighter than ever, and she was on her way to being one of the biggest names in pop music. JoJo, however, faced some unfortunate circumstances that greatly hindered her progression in her own music career. After JoJo released her second album, some negative changes started to happen at her label. For one, Blackground Records lost its distribution deal with Universal, which made it difficult for them to release their artists' music. Additionally, Vince Herbert suddenly left the label, and this had a direct effect on JoJo because Vince was the one who advocated for her and advised her to sign with Blackground Records in the first place. JoJo talked about Vince Herbert in her interview with Billboard magazine and said, "I really felt like he was my brother. I don't have any siblings, so that was devastating to me. After he left, a lot of trash talking started. The president of Blackground started talking a lot of stuff about him. As I come to find out later, money, greed, ego, and scare tactics were at play, and even to this day at 24, it is a little confusing. It was particularly confusing at 16. The president of Blackground Records, Barry Hankerson, did not have a good handle on his business affairs, and it affected his artists. Tony Braxton sued Blackground for breach of trust and misrepresentation. Timbaland also sued Blackground for refusing to finance his third album with Magoo, which would stop him from fulfilling his contractual obligations. JoJo found herself at odds with her label as well, but she stayed focused on her music. Between 2008 and 2009, she created and finished her third studio album, All I Want Is Everything, which had a blend of different sounds.
Give me do. Maybe you should file a restraining order. Baby, put the handcuffs on me. Take me down or take me now. Before we take it there, let me know that you still be down for me. Before we lay down tonight. I wanna go backwards. I wanna take backwards. I wanna go back.
JoJo waited for Blackground Records to sign a distribution deal so they could release her album. Without them signing a distribution deal, her album could not be released. Blackground did eventually sign a distribution deal with Interscope Records, but the label still did not release JoJo's album. They made her make several revisions to her album, and they told her that if she didn't lose weight, they would not release her record.
I was on shots, like I was injecting myself with this thing from this dietitian that makes it so you're not hungry, and it tricks your body into thinking you're pregnant. So then the food that it would give the baby, it ends up like expelling.
So you lose about 1 pound a day. They wanted me to lose weight fast to shoot a video that they still deemed I was too quote unquote fat to put out.
Lord.
You know, I was 18 and they were like, well, we're not gonna put your album out if you don't look right. And I was like, well, you're telling me you're not gonna put my album out. What am I supposed to do?
Because I wanted my career to move forward and I was so scared, I did it. And it just made me feel like, well, am I not good enough of a singer? Am I not special enough?
JoJo's album, All I Want Is Everything, was a solid project, but sadly it would never be officially released. Her album ended up getting leaked online, which was a very disappointing loss for her. She realized that staying on Blackground Records would obstruct her blossoming career. At the age of 18, JoJo filed a lawsuit against the label for refusing to release her album and for the costly damages. She also requested to be released from her contract. The legal battle, however, would be a difficult and expensive process for JoJo.
So when I was 12 years old, I signed a contract for 7-album deal, which is like awesome when you're 12. Like, cool, you guys believe in me so much, but there was no time limit to this deal. And unfortunately, the label went defunct and wasn't able to release music. I didn't own my voice, so I wasn't able to put things out.
So I know you were having some legal issues going on with like your record label.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Things kind of just took a turn for the worse, where they weren't releasing anything. I got the feeling they didn't want to be involved in the music industry anymore, but I did. So, that was a conflict, obviously. So
Right.
I had to file my first lawsuit at 18.
So I filed the first one at 18. Basically, I felt that I had turned in several incarnations of an album, and they didn't have any means to put it out. And it felt like they didn't have a desire to put it out.
After filing her first lawsuit, JoJo reluctantly stayed on Blackground Records. She wasn't ready to give up on her label just yet. She still remained somewhat optimistic. She hoped that she wouldn't run into any more obstacles when releasing her future projects. Over a period of time, JoJo's popularity did gradually die down. During her downtime, she worked on new music, sang music covers online, and connected with her fans. In 2010, JoJo released a mixtape called Can't Take That Away From Me and partnered up with an outside platform to release her music. Wrap Up TV was the platform that JoJo used to promote her projects. From her mixtape, she released a single called In the Dark and also performed another fan favorite song called A Boy Without a Heart. In 2011, JoJo teased fans with a snippet of a new video for her new song, The Other Chick.
I faked it every time. I'm the other chick, and you never loved me. She was
The Other Chick was a spunky, up-tempo record that would have fared well on pop radio. JoJo wanted her label to release her single digitally, however, the label would not release it. The music business at the time already made a transition from selling music on CDs to selling music on digital platforms. However, JoJo's label owner, Barry Hankerson, did not move with the tide. He kept the music of all of his artists on lock instead of leasing it to digital and streaming platforms. Because the label did not release her new single digitally, JoJo's new song, The Other Chick, ended up being scrapped. Once again, JoJo found herself stuck in a limbo. She was not sure of her label's future plans for her. She was creating music, but she could not release it or make any money from it. Her only option was to make mixtapes and tour. JoJo still persevered and created more music. In the summer of 2011, she released a remix of Drake's song, Marvin's Room, Can't Do Better.
Once you had the best, boy, you can't do better. Baby, I'm the best, so you can't do better. That new girl that's been in your head. And when you're in her, I know I'm in your head.
I had no way of imagining that that song would have gotten the response that it did, and I really need to thank Wrap Up.
Did you speak with Drake about the song?
We had some communication, and I know that he was receptive to it and said some really nice things about it, and that was so amazing for me to hear.
JoJo's version of Marvin's Room got a lot of rave reviews and attention. Her audio cover of the song gained over 49 million views on YouTube. After JoJo released her remix of Marvin's Room, her career made a resurgence. It was the perfect setup for her to introduce new music to the masses. Many music fans were eager to hear more music from JoJo. That same year, she did end up releasing a single called Disaster.
My love's on its way.
Disaster was JoJo's first charting single in 5 years, and the song gave her enough fuel to go back on tour. In 2012, JoJo released another single called Demonstrate, which was produced by Drake's producer 40. Demonstrate was a sultry record that had the potential to be a strong leading single for JoJo's next project. JoJo filmed a music video for this song, but Blackground Records ended up scrapping the video and the song altogether, just like they did with her single The Other Chick. Both of those singles were supposed to be on JoJo's next album, Jumping Trains, but her album Jumping Trains was scrapped as well. These were very frustrating setbacks for JoJo. Sadly, she had zero control of her situation and her career. Around this time, Blackground Records was crumbling down to the ground. The label was plagued with financial strain, instability, and disorganization. To make matters worse, Blackground lost its distribution deal with Interscope, making it much harder for JoJo's music to be released on major platforms. JoJo desperately wanted out, but the label did not want to let her go. JoJo felt enslaved to her label. All she wanted to do was make music, but she couldn't. This made her become depressed, and she started drinking to cope.
In my personal and family life, I was used to kind of feeling like I wasn't sure what type of stability I had. So in my professional life, it was kind of mirroring that. So I just felt like I didn't really have anything to hold on to.
And I've had many low points, honestly. I was depressed. I was drinking a lot. I just wanted to feel good and get out of my mind. I had so many people, so many different lawyers tell me that I would never be able to get out of this contract, that I should find a different career. I thought my life was over. It really felt like that.
Oh, it was very stressful. I mean, I was really depressed about it because, I didn't feel like there was a separation between me as a person, Joanna, and me as a singer known as JoJo. You know what I mean? Like, I am a singer. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. I was singing since I was 2. So to take that, this career that I've been building for a long time away from me, I was just like, this is not fair.
In the midst of the sad circumstances surrounding her career, JoJo still persevered. She released another mixtape called A.V.A and dropped a single from it called Andre.
Diamond in the rough, and it's just how I like it. That's my Andre.
Andre would be the last single that JoJo released on Blackground Records. In 2013, she filed a second lawsuit against her label for the severe damages done to her career. JoJo had a blossoming career that was prematurely stunted due to Blackground's bad business dealings. It was very unfair. While JoJo's career went through periods of stagnation, labels found other artists like Tori Kelly, Ariana Grande, and Demi Lovato to fill the void that she left. JoJo was tired of being bound by her label. At that point, she was completely fed up and she wanted to fight her way out of her contract.
What's going on with your situation? Every time we see you, we ask because everybody is ready for an album. So
Ready too. It's a wicked f***ed up situation. I'm like totally exasperated by it. I'm honestly really pissed off, and I'm tired of being politically correct, to be honest with you. So you know, I'm in a lawsuit. I filed a lawsuit against them. I'm not playing around, and they're gonna. I know justice will be served.
I didn't own my voice contractually, so I literally had to sue them to get my voice back. So I couldn't make those decisions to be on soundtracks or to sing on TV or to sing in movies. They had to approve everything, and they didn't. So I had to sue my old label, and I had to fight for a long time for my freedom to be able to release music. And it wasn't like it was me, you know, I'm certainly not anti-label.
Yeah.
I just wanted to work. And the thing is, I didn't get a settlement, I didn't get a cash settlement, so I really just fought literally to get out of my contract. What I told myself was, my youth is right now, so if I don't fight now, then I'll be in my 30s, and then, you know, I can't expect my fans to wait forever. So I felt like I needed to be strong, to toughen up, and to listen to what my fans were telling me, that they were going to be there for me, and that I wouldn't be alone, and I just focused on what I could control, which was being in the studio, and writing, and you know, not self-destructing, like I could control those things, you know what I mean? So, and I also focused on the realities of other people's lives and put them in perspective with mine and be like, you know what, my situation is not that bad. I have a roof over my head, I'm comfortable, I have money to sustain myself, I have an incredible, ridiculously supportive, passionate fan base. What more can I really ask for?
JoJo's legal battle wasn't easy, but it was worth it. She did not receive any money for her troubles, but she did receive her freedom, which was all she wanted. Her lawyers were able to find a loophole to get her out of her contract. According to the New York state law, minors can't sign contracts that go beyond 7 years. Since JoJo signed at the age of 12, she was only supposed to be in her contract for 7 years. JoJo's lawyers were able to use this law in her case, and they helped her get out of her contract. In 2014, JoJo finally left Blackground Records and signed a new deal with Atlantic Records. JoJo was excited about it, but she faced another obstacle. The A&R who helped advocate for her on Atlantic Records left his position, which kind of left JoJo isolated. JoJo needed a solid team behind her to help her get reintroduced to the public.
Bruno Mars, A&R, Aaron Bashuk signed me at Atlantic, and I was, you know, we were building a bond, and then he went to Interscope, so then I was left kind of alone at Atlantic once again. And I was like, okay, here we go. So then we scrapped that album because then I had a new A&R come in.
JoJo stayed diligent and continued to put out music. She released 3 short EPs, one called Love Joe, another called Love Joe 2, and a 3-single EP she simply called 3. She coined a name for her 3 new singles and called it a tringle. Her tringle would be the first official songs that she released in a few years. While JoJo was creating music for her new project, she dealt with some sad news. She got the sad news that her father died due to years of drug usage.
I got a call when I was in LA that my dad had overdosed for I don't know what number time that was. But I looked at him and I just saw him hooked up to these machines, and I just couldn't give up on him. I just couldn't, that's my one dad. So I just couldn't do it.
JoJo's song called Save My Soul was inspired by her father and his battle with addiction. After his passing, it gave the song another layer of emotion and significance. In 2016, JoJo released her first official album in 10 years. The album was called Mad Love, and it spawned 3 singles.
Didn't do nothing wrong. Hey, what you want from me? I would say I'm sorry if I really meant it. You can go jump on a bandwagon. You, your money, and your lame ass face. Go ahead and jump on a bandwagon with you, fake. I can only drink what I wanna drink. I can only say what I wanna say.
JoJo's album Mad Love debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Although the sales did not match her previous sales, her album still had great reviews. Additionally, she was able to tour and sell out shows across the country and overseas. In 2018, JoJo re-recorded and re-released all of her previous work from Blackground Records. She did this in efforts to stream her music without dealing with any interference from her former label. Her music is currently available on all streaming platforms. JoJo has certainly gone through a lot of ups and downs in her career, and she was often discouraged when dealing with the ugliness of the music business. In spite of all the obstacles, JoJo has persevered through it all with hard work and dedication. Her passion for music was the driving force that kept her going strong.
You fought for what you wanted.
Yeah, and it was super worth it. And I'm just definitely not in this for, you know, the superficial elements of it.
Mhm.
I love music, and
Yeah.
that's why I fought, because it's my life.
What are the good things that come out of 10 years of lawsuits, 10 years of not being able to do what your heart tells you have to do?
It's humbled me in a way that nothing else could possibly have humbled me. But I think that it gave me perspective on what's important and an appreciation for people more than anything.
I'm so thankful. Like, my level of gratitude is much higher than had I not gone through some of the adversity that I did. I think it's made me a more well-rounded and appreciative person. I'm just having more fun this time around because it means so much more this time around. Oftentimes I would almost cry, or I would need to, compose myself, because I'm thinking of what it means that I can still tour, what it means that I still have people supporting me, and thinking back to darker times, thinking back to times, where I just was dreaming of being on stage again and performing new material. And it just feels so much more gratifying now. I think I'm just a lot more thankful. That's a word that comes up a lot for me. Thankfulness, gratitude. I feel it so much more now than ever.
JoJo's artistry, vocal prowess, and musical versatility is praised by her fans today, and many vocal enthusiasts respect her for her vocal skills.
If I let this go, boy, I'm gonna watch my back. I'm not just anybody. Is it my goal? Is it your goal? Sometimes I'm goody, running all nighty. Say yes or say no, 'cause I really need somebody. Tell me that somebody, yeah. You give me mad love. How far can we go? Nobody knows. You give me bad love.
JoJo recently did a cover of Mariah Carey's song Miss You the Most at Christmas, and Mariah Carey herself appreciated it. She said, "Thank you for this beautiful homage. I'm so happy you chose this song that not many people know. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs that I've written. Love, MC." And JoJo said, "Crying in this dressing room. Thank you, Queen. Thank you." How sweet is that? If you all enjoyed this music documentary, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.